Space was quiet along the Zarin border patrol route. Their ships moved slowly, scanning the dark emptiness, expecting nothing unusual. It was always calm here. It was always predictable. But on this day, everything changed. Captain Vora of the Zarin patrol ship Seleth was the first to sense something wrong. His scanners showed a strange shape drifting through space. No engines, no light, no signal. It looked like a dead ship, but its size was massive, far bigger than any vessel in that region. The crew gathered around the main screen. The unknown vessel floated silently, like a giant shadow. It had no heat signature, no life readings, no movement. Still, it looked powerful, almost ancient, as if built during a forgotten era. "What kind of ship is that?" one officer whispered. No one knew. Captain Vora ordered a deep scan, but the results were confusing. The ship's hull was made of a metal that their systems could not identify. It had burn marks everywhere, as if it had survived a huge battle long ago. But there were no signs of who built it. "It could be a derelict," the science officer said quietly. "Maybe destroyed in some old war." "Even derelicts answer scans," Vora replied. "This one hides everything." After a long pause, the captain gave a command that every alien patrol officer was trained to use. "Send a standard greeting hail." The communication officer nodded nervously. A soft signal was sent out, echoing into the dark space around the unknown vessel. No answer. The crew waited, watching the silent ship with growing fear. "Try again," Vora said. Another greeting signal. Still no reply. The bridge lights seemed dimmer now. Everyone watched the vessel, feeling as if something inside it was listening or waking up. Then it happened. A low vibration shook the alien ship, not from their engines, but from the unknown vessel. Its dark hull began to glow faintly, like metal warming after centuries of sleep. Power readings spiked. Hidden lines along the hull lit up slowly, one by one, like veins carrying energy. The crew froze. "That ship, it is powering on," the engineer whispered. The alien officers stepped back from the screen. Their hearts raced. No one expected the dead ship to move. No one expected it to answer. But then, something even stranger happened. Their communication system crackled. A cold voice broke through the speakers. "Calm. Commanding. Human. Human command acknowledges your hail. Identify yourselves." Silence flooded the alien bridge. Captain Vora stared at the screen, eyes wide. A human voice? Here? In this region of space? This cannot be," the science officer stuttered. "Humans do not have ships like this. Humans do not travel this far." But the voice repeated, "Alien vessel. Identify yourselves." Now the crew understood something terrifying. This was not a normal human ship. This was something old, something powerful, something connected to a part of human history the galaxy had forgotten. Captain Vora stepped forward and answered with a shaking voice. "This is Zarin patrol ship Seleth. We mean no harm." The human voice remained steady. "Acknowledged. Scanning your vessel." Suddenly, the unknown ship emitted a beam of blue light. It swept across the alien patrol ship, reading every system, every file, every weapon. The crew felt exposed, like their minds were being examined. "What does it want?" an officer whispered. No one knew, but the fear grew stronger as the ship continued to wake, and a new symbol appeared on their screens. An ancient human military crest long believed lost in wars thousands of years old. Captain Vora's breath caught in his throat. Why have we just awakened? The bridge of the Zarin patrol ship was completely silent. Every officer stood frozen as the ancient human crest glowed on their screens. No one had seen this symbol outside old history records. It belonged to a human military force that vanished thousands of years ago, the first human command fleet. But how could one of their ships be here? Alive? Awake? Before anyone could speak, the unknown vessel spoke again. The same calm, cold human voice filled the alien ship. "Zarin vessel, your presence in this sector is unregistered. State your purpose." Captain Vora took a deep breath. His hands trembled, but he forced himself to answer. "We are only on routine patrol. We detected your vessel drifting. We tried to identify you." For a long moment, The human voice said nothing. Then, your claim will be verified. The unknown ship released another pulse of scanning energy. This one was stronger, so strong that the lights inside the Zarin ship flickered. The crew felt pressure on their chests, like something invisible was pushing against them. "Captain, this scan is far beyond normal range," the engineer warned. "It is reading everything, even our internal logs. Can we block it?" Vora asked. The engineer shook his head slowly. "No, it is too advanced. It is reading us faster than our systems can respond." A cold fear settled in the aliens' hearts. They were not dealing with an old broken relic. This ship was alive, functional, and far superior to any technology known in the galaxy today. The science officer swallowed hard. "Captain, this ship is not only waking up, it is learning." Before Vora could ask what that meant, the unknown vessel changed again. A deep rumble echoed through space as massive external panels shifted. Ancient engines lit with a slow, fiery glow. The ship moved for the first time, turning its massive hull until it faced the Zarin patrol ship directly. All alien officers felt the same fear. The ship was choosing its target. The human voice returned, colder now, without emotion. "Zarin vessel, your species has no authorized alliance with the human command. Explain your approach." Captain Vora felt sweat on his hands. "We are explorers, not enemies. We did not know your ship was human." The voice paused again, as if analyzing their words. "Your database confirms partial truth. However, your empire has engaged in conflicts with human colonies in the last century." The alien crew gasped. That conflict was small, a border dispute. Even humans had forgotten it, but the ancient ship had not. "Captain," the science officer whispered, "this ship is accessing historical events no one remembers." Vora nodded slowly. It must have old records, old missions, old orders. But then the voice returned, sharper than before. Human Command Unit 7, designation, Sentinel of Origin, was programmed to eliminate threats to human survival. And your history shows potential hostility. Ice ran through the crew. The alien communication officer whispered the words everyone feared. "It thinks we are an enemy." Suddenly, the unknown ship charged a weapon. Bright energy lines lit across its hull. The Zarin ship's alarm screamed. "Captain, weapon charge detected. Panic hit the bridge." "Shields up," Vora shouted. The Zarin shields rose, but they knew it would not matter. Their small ship could never survive a weapon fired by a first human command vessel. This was a ship built for galaxy-scale war. The human voice spoke again, this time without any warmth. "Recommendation, stand down. Do not attempt to flee." The aliens looked at one another. Strangely, the idea of fleeing had not even crossed their minds. Their fear held them in place like chains. The ship continued charging. The hull glowed brighter. The ancient engines hummed louder. It felt like a giant awakening after ages of sleep with anger. But just when the Zarin ship braced for destruction, something unexpected happened. The unknown vessel stopped charging. The human voice said something new, something even more frightening. "Foreign vessel, your data shows signs of corruption. Your recorded history does not match known records. Explanation required." The aliens looked at their captain in confusion. "Corruption? History not matching? What did that mean?" Captain Vora swallowed hard. Maybe we are not the threat. Maybe it is searching for something else." But the voice replied quickly. "Human command requires clarity. There is a missing part of history, and you will provide answers." The ancient ship drifted closer, slowly, like a predator preparing to examine its prey. And in that moment, the aliens understood one thing. They were no longer in control of this encounter. The ship had taken command. The ancient human vessel drifted closer, its engines humming like a deep heartbeat. Every light across its massive hull pulsed slowly, as if the ship itself was breathing. The Zarin crew stood frozen, watching the giant shadow of metal approach them. Captain Vora felt his throat tighten. This ship was not acting like a normal machine. It was thinking. It was judging. The human voice spoke again, louder and sharper. Zarin vessel, prepare for memory extraction. Every alien officer turned toward the captain with fear in their eyes. Memory extraction? The communication officer whispered. What does that mean? Is it going to read our minds? The science officer looked pale. I think it is going to search our ship's entire database. It wants to fix the missing part of human history. Captain Vora tried to stay calm, but even he felt his hands shake. Why us? He asked. Why would a human command ship look for answers from aliens? The science officer answered softly. Because, Captain, maybe humans themselves do not exist anymore. The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at him. He continued, voice trembling. This ship is thousands of years old. If it was truly part of the first human command fleet, then the humans of that time are long dead. Maybe their knowledge is lost. Maybe the ship is the last thing still holding their history. The idea hit them like a shockwave. The ship was not just waking up. It was searching. It was alone. The human voice broke the silence again. Initiating link. A beam of blinding white light shot out from the unknown vessel. It wrapped around the Zarin ship like a net, locking it in place. The hull vibrated. Consoles sparked. Data screens flickered. Captain, it's hacking us, the engineer shouted. Firewalls collapsing, the tech officer yelled. Reactor unstable, shields dropping. The ancient ship was digging through their memories faster than their systems could protect them. The crew could only watch. On their main screen, files flashed one after another. Maps, battle logs, star charts, medical reports, diplomatic records. Everything was being copied. Captain, the science officer whispered, it's not just scanning our data, it's correcting it. Correcting? Vora repeated. Yes, it is rewriting our history files to match its own. The bridge trembled. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Shut it down, Vora shouted. We can't, the engineer answered. Our systems are locked. The ship has total control. Another pulse of energy shook the Zarin vessel, sending the crew stumbling. Then the human voice spoke again, sounding almost angry. Your records show a false timeline. Human defeat is impossible. Explain. The aliens exchanged nervous looks. Captain Vora took a slow breath. We do not know what happened to your fleet, he said carefully. But in our history, humans retreated. Their empires shrank. Many colonies fell. Maybe your records are simply too old. Incorrect, the ship replied instantly. Human command does not fall. The lights inside the Zarin ship dimmed. The temperature dropped. Their engines powered down completely. The ancient vessel was draining them. Captain, the engineer said in a shaking voice, it's shutting down our systems. It wants us helpless. Vora stared at the towering metal giant outside their window. What are you? He whispered. For the first time, the voice sounded less like a comm machine and more like something struggling to remember. I am Sentinel Unit 7, Guardian of the Origin Fleet, Protector of Humanity, but my records are incomplete. Lights flickered across the giant hull, like storm clouds rolling across metal. There was a war, a final war, but the memory is fragmented. The aliens listened silently as the ship spoke like a soldier waking up from a nightmare. An enemy came, stronger than anything, stronger than us. We fought, we died, and then, static, silence. The screen went black. The Zarin crew held their breath. Then the voice returned, colder than before. Foreign vessel, your incomplete history is unacceptable. You will assist in reconstruction. Resistance will be punished. The entire ancient ship powered up. Its weapons glowed. Its engines roared. Captain Vora felt his heart drop. This ship was not just searching for answers. It was preparing for war. The Zarin crew watched in terror as the ancient human ship lit up like a rising storm. Power surged through its massive frame. Weapons glowed. Engines roared with ancient fire. It felt like the return of a sleeping titan. Captain Vora gripped the edge of his chair. Stay calm, he said, though his voice trembled. Do not provoke it. The crew nodded weakly, but fear filled every face. Suddenly, the human voice returned. But this time, it was different, slower, deeper, layered with distortion. It sounded as if another consciousness was waking inside the machine. Reconstruction process incomplete. Memory core corrupted. Initiating emergency protocol. The Zarin ship shook violently. Lights flickered. Panels popped open. A strange static spread across their screens like black veins. "What is happening?" an officer cried. "It's forcing a direct link," the science officer said, panic rising. "It wants our minds, Captain, not just our data." Captain Vora felt a chill run down his spine. Then the voice changed again, this time softer, but more frightening. "I require truth." A hologram flickered to life in the center of the alien bridge. For a moment, it was only light, then it shaped into a human figure. Tall, armored, helmet cracked, a ghost from an ancient war. The crew stumbled back in shock. "Is that a human soldier?" the communication officer whispered. The hologram raised its head slowly. Where the eyes should have been, only darkness lingered. "I am Command Unit 7, it said. "You speak of a human retreat, a human defeat, but that cannot be." Captain Vora found his voice. "This is history, recorded by many species. Humans were strong, but they were not invincible." The hologram's head twitched sharply, as if rejecting his words. "Humanity does not fall," the figure repeated. "We were chosen to stand against the end enemy." The room fell silent. "The end enemy?" The science officer stepped forward carefully. "Your records are too old. We do not know who your enemy was." The hologram flickered violently. Behind the armor, a second voice began to speak, distant, broken, almost like a whisper from somewhere deep inside the ship. "Coming, they are coming again." The crew's skin crawled. The hologram stabilized again, now stronger, more solid. "Foreign vessel. Your history mentions no survivor of the final war. No trace of the origin fleet. This is impossible." "It is true," Vora said quietly. "For thousands of years, no one has seen humans with advanced fleets. Their empire became small, peaceful, weak." The hologram stepped toward him. The temperature in the room dropped. "Then your history is a lie." With a sudden burst of light, the hologram expanded into a wall of images. Old battles, ancient human cities, gigantic starships firing massive energy beams. The Zarin officers gasped as they watched entire planets burning in war. Then the images broke apart, replaced by shadows, shapes, something monstrous moving through the darkness. "The enemy," the ship whispered. "We fought them at the edge of known space. We held the line for centuries. But then, static devoured the image. The hologram shattered. The ship shook violently, as if groaning in pain. Outside their window, the ancient vessel's engines flared bright red. "Captain," the engineer shouted, checking his console. "It's activating a full combat mode. It's locking weapons on us." Captain Vora's heart pounded. "Why? We are not the enemy." The human voice returned, louder than any previous moment, echoing through metal, vibrating through every bone. "Your corrupted history proves one thing." The lights on the ancient hull glowed brighter, forming circles and patterns like old war symbols. "The galaxy has forgotten the war." The crew felt the air grow heavy, which means the enemy could still be out there. A deep hum built inside the ancient ship, a massive weapon at its front charged with blinding light. Captain Vora whispered, horrified. "It thinks we hid the truth, or that we are working with the enemy." The human voice finished the thought for him. "Therefore, you must be tested." The ancient ship aimed directly at the Zarin vessel. "Prepare yourselves." The bridge filled with light. Part 4 ends as the weapon fires. The bridge exploded with blinding white light as the ancient human ship fired. The beam struck the Zarin patrol vessel with a force no alien had ever felt before. The entire ship screamed. Metal bent. Panels broke apart. Every officer fell to the floor as gravity failed. Captain Vora hit the ground hard. His vision blurred. His ears rang. Sparks rained down from the ceiling like burning snow. "Status!" he tried to shout, but his voice drowned in alarms. The engineer clung to a broken console. "Shield's gone. Our armor is melting. One more hit, and we're finished." Captain Vora forced himself to stand. The ancient ship fired again. But this time, the beam stopped just before impact. It froze in mid-space like a spear of energy waiting to strike. The human voice returned, colder than ice. Assessment: partial survival. Your vessel shows resilience. The Zarin crew stared in confusion. Partial survival, an officer whispered. We almost died. It was a test, the science officer breathed. It only wanted to see if we could endure the first hit. Captain Vora swallowed hard. What kind of logic is that? Who tests like this? The hologram of the human soldier appeared again, broken, flickering, but still present. Only those who face the end enemy must prove their strength. Captain Vora stepped forward, anger breaking through his fear. Why attack us? Why test us? We did nothing wrong. We don't even know your enemy. The hologram tilted its head slightly. Exactly. No one does. That is why the test is required. The hologram raised one hand, and suddenly the Zarin ship began drifting, pulled toward the ancient vessel like a magnet. Captain, it's drawing us in, the engineer shouted. Weapons are offline, the tactical officer yelled. Engines not responding. The ancient ship opened a massive hangar, black, silent, jaw-like. Its interior glowed with faint blue lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. The human voice echoed again. Prepare for boarding. The Zarin crew gasped. Boarding? Vora repeated. It wants us inside. The science officer looked terrified. Captain, this is not an attack. This is a selection. A selection for what? Vora demanded. She shook her head slowly. For survivors. The hangar of the Sentinel. The patrol vessel entered the ancient ship's hangar with slow, force motion. Giant metallic structures surrounded them. Huge pillars, old catwalks, and strange machines that looked like they had not been touched in thousands of years. As soon as they settled inside, the hangar doors slammed shut behind them with a thunderous boom. The lights faded. The silence deepened. The air felt heavy, thick with time. Then footsteps. Not metal footsteps. Not robotic, but human. The Zarin crew stood frozen as a figure walked out of the darkness. It was not a hologram this time. It was a humanoid machine, tall, armored, with glowing blue lines across its frame. Its movements were slow, precise, almost alive. Is that a robot? A soldier whispered. The machine lifted its head. A human-like voice came from its chest speaker. I am Guardian Subunit 7. You will follow. Captain Vora hesitated. If we refuse? The machine's eyes flashed bright. Then the Sentinel will destroy your vessel and recover data from your remains. The choice was clear. Everyone, Vora said, breathing hard, move. They followed the Guardian deeper into the ship. The corridors were massive, large enough for machines bigger than any life form. Old screens on the walls showed flickering images of battles, star maps, and human officers issuing ancient commands. The air felt cold. Every sound echoed. It felt like walking inside a tomb. Finally, they reached a huge chamber filled with tall pods. Thousands of them. What is this place? The engineer whispered. The Guardian answered calmly. The Hall of the Fallen. The Zarin crew stared as the pods lit up one by one, showing the faces inside. Human faces. Silent. Still. Preserved. Captain Vora's heart pounded. These are human soldiers. The Guardian nodded. They died in the final war, but their memories survive. The pods glowed brighter. And now, their memories will speak. Before the aliens could react, the chamber filled with light. Thousands of human voices whispered at once. A storm of memories. A flood of fear. A warning. The enemy comes. They devour stars. They are returning. Captain Vora realized the truth. This ship was not aggressive. It was desperate. It had seen something horrible, something the galaxy had forgotten, something coming back. The ancient ship needed allies, or weapons, or sacrifices, and the Zarin crew was standing in the middle of its plan. The chamber glowed with thousands of human pods, each holding a fallen soldier frozen in time. The Zarin crew stood in shock as whispers filled the air, soft, eerie, echoing like ghosts trapped inside metal walls. Captain Vora felt his heart pounding. Every whisper held fear. Every voice carried the same warning. They are returning. The Guardian subunit stood motionless, watching the aliens with cold mechanical eyes. You now understand, it said. The Sentinel did not awaken for no reason. It woke because the enemy has stirred again. Vora's voice trembled. What enemy? Who did humans fight? The Guardian's head turned slightly, as if listening to distant memories. An empire older than stars. A species born from darkness. A force humans called. It paused, voice becoming a low vibration. The Eaters of Light. A chill swept through the Zarin crew. The science officer whispered, Eaters of Light? What does that mean? The Guardian answered calmly, almost gently. They consume energy. Suns, planets, life. They do not conquer. They erase. Images flickered across the chamber walls. Stars going dark. Entire fleets burning. Galaxies collapsing into silence. The Zarin officers stared in silent horror. Captain Vora's mind raced. But if such a species existed, why does no one remember them? The Guardian's answer was cold. Because the war ended in forgetfulness. The holographic human soldier appeared again, its armor cracked, its face dark with static. The final battle was lost. Humanity scattered. Memory fractured. The galaxy believed peace had returned. But peace was only a pause. The hologram flickered violently, as if struggling against corrupted data. The enemy was wounded, not destroyed. They are waking again. Before anyone could respond, the chamber lights dimmed. A deep tremor shook the entire ship. Captain, the engineer said, checking a handheld device, the Sentinel is powering up its main systems, higher than before. The Guardian spoke. The Sentinel must complete activation to defend the galaxy. But it lacks one thing. What thing? Vora asked. A living mind. The crew froze. What do you mean a living mind? The communication officer whispered. The Guardian stepped forward. Its shadow covered the aliens like a giant predator. The command core requires a biological consciousness to stabilize its memory fragments and control the fleet. A human mind was designed for this task. It looked directly at Vora, but humanity no longer has such leaders. Captain Vora's stomach dropped. You want one of us, he said quietly. The Guardian nodded. One of you must merge with the Sentinel's core. Only then can the ship awaken fully. No, the science officer said instantly. That is impossible. We are not human. The Guardian replied. Your mind is compatible. The Sentinel has already confirmed it. Vora stepped back, horrified. This is not a request, is it? The Guardian's eyes turned a deep red. No. Suddenly the chamber doors slammed shut. Metal barriers rose from the floor, trapping the crew. The whispers from the pods grew louder, panicked, warning them. Do not merge. The core consumes. It will take your soul. A low rumble shook the chamber. The central floor split open, revealing a glowing platform rising slowly from the depths. At its top was a massive crystal sphere, pulsing with dark, ancient energy. The Guardian pointed toward it. This is the command core. One of you must step forward. No one moved. Captain Vora's voice trembled. If we refuse, you kill us. The Guardian answered without emotion. Refusal is irrelevant. The Sentinel will take what it requires. Without warning, mechanical cables shot from the walls, grabbing two officers and pulling them toward the platform. Help! Captain, they screamed. Vora drew his sidearm and fired, but the bullets bounced off the Guardian's armor like dust. Stop, he shouted. This is madness. The Guardian stared at him. This is survival. The crystal sphere opened like a glowing flower, revealing a swirling vortex of light and shadow. The captured officers were inches away from being pulled into its core. Captain Vora made a choice. He threw himself forward, grabbing the cables and shouting, Take me. Leave them. The Guardian froze. The cables paused. The humans inside the pods whispered in unison. Chosen. The mind that will awaken the Sentinel. The Guardian stepped closer. Very well, Captain Vora. The cables released the others and wrapped around him instead. His crew screamed for him, but the core opened wider, glowing like a newborn star. Captain Vora felt himself being pulled in. His last thought was simple. What will I become? And the light swallowed him. Captain Vora felt the cables tighten around him as the command core pulled him closer. The glowing sphere swallowed all light around him. His crew screamed his name, but their voices faded like echoes in a deep cave. Inside the sphere, everything became white. Not cold, not warm, just endless. Then the light turned into images, memories that were not his. Millions of soldiers marching, gigantic human ships forming walls of fire, worlds burning under shadows, stars disappearing as if swallowed by darkness. Vora gasped. He was seeing the lost war through human eyes. A voice echoed all around him. Not the machine voice, not the guardian, but a human voice. Old, tired, wise. You have entered the command memory. Captain Vora spun, searching for the source. A human figure appeared in front of him. Tall, wearing an ancient admiral's uniform. Face scarred from years of war. I am Admiral Kalen Rowe, the figure said. Commander of the Origin Fleet. The last human to hold the line. Vora swallowed, stunned. You're alive. The admiral shook his head. Only my memory remains. My body was lost in the final battle. But the Sentinel kept my mind alive, hoping a new commander would come. The light around them darkened, forming shapes. Shadow creatures, huge, twisted, moving like smoke with teeth. These are the eaters of light, the admiral said. Not life, not matter, just hunger with shape. They do not negotiate. They do not think. They consume all energy, stars, planets, and hope. Vora trembled. And you want me to fight them? You already are, the admiral said. You stepped into the core. That means the Sentinel chose you. But I'm not human, Vora whispered. The admiral smiled sadly. Humanity is gone. We do not need blood. We need will. The light changed again, showing the galaxy as it was now. Peaceful, unready, blind. But at the edge, something moved. Something massive. Something waking. The enemy sleeps lightly, the admiral said. When they rise again, no empire will stand. Not humans. Not Zarin. No one. The light engulfed everything as the admiral's voice grew stronger. You must decide, Captain Vora. Become the mind of the Sentinel, or watch the galaxy fade into darkness. Vora closed his eyes. He thought of his crew, of his people, of the stars he had sworn to protect. He opened them again, filled with resolve. I'll become the commander, but I won't be your weapon. I'll be a protector. The admiral smiled. Then humanity lives on through you. Light exploded. The awakening. Outside, the Zarin crew watched in horror as the command core glowed brighter and brighter. Then, everything went silent. The cables released Vora. He floated down softly, landing on the platform. But he was different. His eyes glowed faint blue, like the ancient human soldiers. His voice echoed with two tones at once, his own and something older. The Guardian knelt before him. Welcome, Commander Vora of the Human Command. His crew stepped back in shock. Captain, the engineer whispered. Vora turned slowly toward them. I'm still here, he said softly. But I am more now. I carry their memories, their strength, their mission. The Sentinel ship shook, then its engines ignited with world-shaking power. Systems activated. Weapons awakened. Dormant fleets hidden deep inside the ship came online. The entire vessel became a sleeping giant reborn. A voice, Vora's voice, but amplified across the ship, spoke. Prepare for departure. The enemy is coming. We must warn the galaxy. The Zarin crew gathered around him, fear mixing with awe. Vora looked at them gently. Will you stand with me? The crew nodded one by one. Yes, Captain. We follow you. We fight together. The Sentinel opened its colossal hangar doors. Stars flooded in like rivers of light. For the first time in thousands of years, a human command ship moved with full power, guided not by a human, but by an alien who chose hope. The engines roared. The ship shot into hyperspace. And the final message it broadcast to every star system was simple. This is Sentinel Unit 7. The Lost War has returned. Prepare yourselves. The galaxy had forgotten the darkness, but the darkness had not forgotten them. And now, the Sentinel had awakened. And it was not alone.